Good evening. Hey, and welcome to this live edition of Turnaround Marriage. We are excited to dive in with you guys tonight. And tonight, what we want to do is talk about, we talk to a lot of couples, and what we have seen over and over again, the ones that show up that really have the heart and the mindset right to really fixing things. And what we want to dive into is what we see. And one of the 5 key things really that people have, they're locked into them, and there are reasons why they may never fix their marriage, why things will always be the same and might actually get worse. And if you realize that, my goodness, we've got some problems in our home, in our marriage, this is exactly the place that you need to be tonight.
Yes, we are Scott and Rachel. We help committed Christian couples finally end the cycles of conflict, negativity, and disconnection and reclaim the love, passion, and playfulness that they once had. And so these are 5 things that we have found with couples that absolutely will not fix their marriage.
Like and subscribe. We want to hit on that.
So. Oh, I forgot to like and subscribe.
Yes.
Like and subscribe. If you're watching us on YouTube, go ahead and like and subscribe so you don't miss any of our content. And if you're watching on Facebook, go ahead and give us a hello and a like, and let us know you're here and watching, because we're here to really serve and help Christian couples. We know that there's a big target on the back of Christian couples. And so what we have found over the time that we've worked with families is that these 5 mindsets, I guess you'd say, are just red flags that we just see over and over again. Couples who just do not end up fixing their marriage, or they end up in divorce, and the marriage doesn't make it at all. And so we wanted to dive into these and let you know, if this is you, this is a red flag. You really need to take an inward look.
Change. Yep.
Yeah.
You want to hit the first one?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So the first one is, if you love to rehash the past, this is probably a red flag that says you may not fix your marriage. There are so many people who are stuck in bitterness and frustration, and they're so angry about the past, and they're stuck in unforgiveness, and they just want to rehash those hurts over and over again. They really want to make their spouse pay, so to speak. They really want their spouse to really get, how did you hurt me, and how much it hurt, and why did you do that, and go over and over and over again. And guys, this doesn't help. Rehashing the past never works to fix the marriage, and we often use the illustration of the windshield and the rearview mirror. This is one of the ways coaching is a little bit different than traditional counseling or therapy. Coaching is really designed to get you from where you are to where you want to go, not so much looking back at the past to try to unwind all that. Instead, let's move forward. Let's look through the rear. Let's look through the windshield about where we want to go. Keep our eyes mostly focused there. We have the rearview mirror to kind of glance to see, where did we get hung up? What can we learn? How can we grow from that? But really, it's about the windshield. Where are we going? Not where have we been?
Absolutely. And we know the Bible describes to us that love is keeping no record of wrongs.
Yes.
And even in Christian counseling, or even sometimes Christian couples, they think they really need to keep that record of wrongs. And sometimes it's maybe even keeping that list of wrongs to show to the lawyer one day.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Or to prove their point, or to really tell the person they're talking to that it's their spouse that's really to blame. But guys, locking into rehashing the past, you're always going to stay stuck. The second thing that we see over and over again are people that are what we would say they're not coachable. Like, they're just locked into, no one's going to tell me that it's going to be any different than this. And my goodness, we see couples over and over again where the husband and or the wife, sometimes at the same time, they believe they're completely right. Mm-hmm. And it's the other person that's completely at fault. And there is no other way to do marriage other than the way they're doing it. And their spouse needs to change because they're wrong. Or even a scenario that we see is when they could not be coachable with somebody on the outside to come in and help them. Guys, I'm here to tell you, if your marriage isn't working and you're button heads and you're not going to change, the marriage isn't going to change. Because who is it that you can change? Not the other person. You can only change you.
Mm-hmm. It's absolutely right, Scott. And that's the thing that we've found is, like, I've often heard, especially I believe husbands would say this more than wives. They're like, well, I don't want anybody telling me what to do in my marriage. And so that's the epitome of being uncoachable. And guys, if you're not going to be coachable, we would not be a good fit to work together. And you might most likely will not fix your marriage.
Right.
Okay. So the first one is rehashing the past. The second one is being uncoachable. The third one we see a lot is that nothing in your marriage is your fault.
It's similar to this other
Yeah,
second one,
it's
but
like
different.
it's like
Yeah.
you know, and we see from Genesis 3 the very, very first blame shift. This idea of blame shifting, like nothing is my fault. Everything is if only he would change, if only she would stop XYZ, if only the other person. And this is this was, you know, Adam blamed Eve, Eve blamed the serpent, Adam even kind of blamed God. Well, this is the
totally
woman
did.
you gave me,
Yeah.
you know, and it's like this is from the beginning, since marriage was here. This is how, you know, since the fall, couples have been doing this. And guys, if you're here to shift the blame, most likely you will not fix your marriage.
And absolutely. And if you're a Christian and you know you're a sinner, you can guarantee there's at least specks in your eyes, if not planks. And oftentimes we see it over and over again, people that are just like Adam. They're essentially blaming God for the spouse they're stuck with.
Yes. Oh, yes.
That's a dangerous place to be, for sure.
Mhm.
The fourth one is this. You want to keep researching. You want to keep thinking about it. You want to keep gathering information. What happens? Couples think, oh, you know, we got to find the right solution. We're just stuck here. Inaction is the death of a lot of marriages. Being stuck is sometimes just a choice. Do you want things to stay the same, or are you ready for things to change? And so often we see, well, I don't know if we're ready to make a decision. Like the inaction is the biggest problem.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even that they have to find the right solution as much as they have to move out of not doing nothing. That's one of the main reasons they're staying stuck.
Yes. Because it's like, if your house is on fire, is it like, I really need to think about it. Which fire extinguisher should I use? Or should I call 911, or should I run next door and see if I can borrow a bucket from my neighbor? It's like, no, your house is on fire. It's time to take action. Even if the thing that you pick is wrong, at least you've taken action. You'll figure it out along the way. You need to do something if your house is on fire. We implore you, stop just thinking about it and praying about it. Not that thinking and praying about it is a bad thing. Of course, we want to seek the face of God. But if your marriage is going up in smoke, it's time to take action and say, God, help me. Let's go. And take a step in faith. Okay. And stop staying there.
Yeah.
In inaction. Okay. So the fifth one, what we really, really see is when a couple or one person in the marriage says, you know what, at the end of the day,
they may not even say it. I'm sorry. Just keep it going.
It's maybe they say it in their mind. Yeah. Or they say it in their heart. Yeah. It's like, you know what, at the end of the day, I really don't want to be married anymore. I have already made the decision that I'm tired of this marriage. Divorce is, you know, I guess it's going to be the easiest thing to do because I'm too tired to fix this. Even though I don't have biblical grounds for divorce, I'm going to go ahead and do that because that seems like the path of least resistance. And maybe you haven't had the guts to do it yet. And so you're just sort of staying stuck, wishing that you weren't married and going like that and allowing the enemy of your soul to lie and steal and kill and destroy and deceive you. Okay. Yeah. And guys, we're here to tell you, if you're already in your heart have said, well, I guess I just really don't want to be married anymore. There's not a lot we can do. Something has got to spark that fire in your heart, and you've got to be able to have the eyes to see.
You're so right. And I would even take it a step further and say there's a lot of times where people do not tell the other person that, like they're done, like they're in functionally. I'm not saying they're actually done, but they're functionally living that way. Like they're thinking about other people and thinking about their coworker, and maybe there's even this an emotional affair. Maybe it's just something I sure wish that was my wife, or that type of thinking is basically checking out of your marriage. Or maybe you're just like, I wish this woman would just leave me alone. I'm going to sleep in the other part of the house, or I'm just going to go play my video games, and I just don't want to have anything to do with you. And they're functionally staying separated. They're functionally already checked out. They're functionally not, in many ways, not even married. They still are, but it's like they've checked out so much. And you're right. There does need to be a spark, but the spark for many people out there, I want you to hear this, is if you are a Christian, you know that path is wrong. And you have to come to grips with that. And you have to work that out before the Lord. And you know that is not the path for you. And so if you're staying in that place where you're just like, I'm out of here, you're going to stay stuck for as long as you stay there. And it might actually get to the place where you've had enough and you go and finally quit. But if you engage with what God says of you, that's not what he's saying, because we know that he hates divorce. Of course, there's situations where there's, there is abuse and things. We're not talking about that. We're talking about when two honorable people are stuck, when two honorable people who love God are just living separate lives. And things, guys, we're here to tell you, if you stay with that attitude, you're going to stay there. And it might actually get worse. It probably is going to get worse before it gets any better. But the beauty is all these things, people that don't want to rehash the past, or people that, want to rehash the past, those that are not coachable, those that stay in the thinking that it's not my fault, those who want to just keep researching, those that don't really want to stay married. Guys, if you change from those, and they're not really hard if you're a Christian, because those are not the paths that are true. Those are not the right paths for you and for your marriage. We want to invite you guys, if you're out there tonight and you're like, Scott, this just hit me like a ton of bricks. Rachel, you guys are so right. We want to encourage you to reach out and book a free breakthrough call with us, because what we do for a lot of couples is we do talk to a lot of them. In fact, I think our week is pretty much booked up this week. We might have one slot left. I know we've got a few next week. What we do is we talk about what's not working in your marriage, what you guys hope it can be, and a path to get there. We're not talking about, it's worth saying, we're not talking about some tweaks in your marriage if we're a good fit and working together. I just want to say that. If we're a good fit to work together, we're talking about a complete revolution in your marriage, a complete transformation. But we'll talk about on that phone if we're a good fit. And if we're not, that's okay. We're going to point you in the right direction. We're going to love you, serve you, and give you the path to exactly get back the marriage that you guys are hoping for. But either way, you're going to get that clarity. So you just go to turnaroundmarriage.com/call, pick a time that works, fill out a short questionnaire, and we'll get on the phone. And guys, it could be the best 45 minutes, an hour you've ever spent on your marriage.
Yes. And guys, if that's not you, don't book that call. If you want to rehash the past, if you want to blame shift, if you want to keep thinking about it and staying indecisive, if you're not coachable, and if you really don't want to stay married, don't waste our time. Our time is, we want to reserve it for people who really are ready to fix their marriage. Okay. We say that in love and in service to those that God will bring along our path that we are to walk with. But yeah, these are the 5 things. We don't want to work with you if that's you. And if you are ready for a heart change, and if you're ready for that massive shift in your marriage and some massive healing, then go ahead and book that call. And we look forward to talking to you then.
Awesome. You guys have a great night.